So, hello, welcome back to this new video. This is one that I've been promising for a while on the Facebook groups, and we are going to talk about the 3D grip extender that I designed, which I today published. And yeah, this might be a long video because I want to try to tell the whole story. So basically, what it is, what my intentions are, um, what problems it tries to solve, but also give you a hint if you have downloaded the files, how you can print it yourself and what's still open issues, etc., etc. So I would not be surprised if this takes at least half an hour. If you think that's too long, then don't watch. If you think it's fine, then watch. So I already put an orange model online. I tried to print it in the Sony colors, and you can see basically what the grip is about. This is a somewhat older model because I didn't want to print it again in orange. Like I said, I've published this online on the Maker World and under the Creative Commons license. So that means that you are allowed to use it, remix it, but you're not allowed to sell it for commercial value. And there is a reason for this. And the main reason is that I think in a few months there will be products out there which solve this issue good enough anyway. And yeah, I just want to have this temporary solution. And maybe it turns out to be permanent. I have no idea. But this is what's up. So let me first show you a bit how it works. So as you can see, the main goal is to solve the pinky problem. So let me put it closer and put myself full so you can look nice and see it. And you can see, I'll turn it around a bit, that it looks quite integrated. I see on the camera back that it looks a little bit different in color. If you look at it from, let's say, half a meter, there's no way that you can see that it's not part of the camera. So it would be nice. I've printed this in PET-P. I will use some tech terms, PET-P, PET-G, CF. So that's high flow from Bamboo Labs. And it's a bit shiny. I think the matte is nicer, but you can't get this in this material. So you can see that yeah, there's a grip, and the main goal is to extend so that my pinky is correctly attached and hits the camera. Now the side effects what I wanted is basically a few other things. So let's look at them. So I wanted to be able to have an Arca plate. So you can see this is an integrated Arca plate, and inside the Arca plate is the magic. This is not mine. I will show the product which is in there, which is an AirTag. I wanted to be able to be to can track it in a nice way on your Apple devices. I also wanted to have a way to store my Peak Design plug, so I can take it out and then, yeah, use it. Let me take it out. Of course, this will be difficult now because I have a video open and everything is difficult if you have video open. Normally it comes out very easy, but there it is. So you can see I can take it out and I can attach my Peak Design plugs, which will then be hanging down like this with a nice lens down. So that's nice. I will put it back. So that's at the bottom, and you can see that the integrated aluminium plate is there, which is the AirTag hidden. And there's a door here, and I can open the door by turning this and take this part out. And let me make that bigger. Can take this part out, and you can see that I can access the battery door. It opens, and so we can switch the battery. You can also see, let me put it like this over here, that I've hidden in the small tool, which is part of the plate that you're getting. I actually designed it for two of them. So this is the one that small rig cages have. I have a lot of small rig tools, and this is the one they have. They have a little bit a bigger hole and look a little bit different. So I designed that both will work. One will catch on the, well, I can show you. This will catch on the middle ring, and the other one will catch on the outer ring. Of course, this was the first time I put it in because I just printed this one. So now it's out. So let me put the other one in. As you can see, you can just sort of click it in there. And that means that you always have your tool with you, which is handy. And so I'm now putting it back, just pressing it back in into its place. So we'll get back to some of these parts, but you can see you can lock it up, and then it's probably best if you hold it. So lock it up and click it back in, and then it's all done. And you have this nice sort of grip. So I hope you like it. So I wouldn't say this is the end of the video, but that's basically the core idea. Again, just to repeat, we want to have a nice grip, a nice feeling grip, which I think we now have. We want to have the built-in ARCA plate. And yeah, I wanted to have the AirTag inside in a way that's not quite obvious that you can see it. And I think, yeah, that worked quite well. So let's look a little bit closer. I'm not sure if I will take it off. I might, but let me first explain a few things and also the parts that we are using. Maybe that's a good way to start. This will, of course, be kind of random. If you know me, you know these kinds of videos. So basically, you need the two parts that you're printing. In total is 4 parts, which I guess I can take it apart. So let me make this top view big and we take it totally apart. So you can see these are the parts that you print. Then you have this second part, and in here there's 2 small parts, which you can, if you print it, you can sort of push this part into this rotating part, and then it works as the lock, because that's how the lock works. It kind of shifts out a little pull that goes into the other part. So the second part that you need, and the most important part, is this plate. This is an old one that I have. I bought a whole bunch of them. I bought like 5, and I'll just put it in the picture so that you can see what it's called and you can easily find it back. It's from JJC. There are different brands, but this is the one that I built it on, because the dimensions and the way the peak design plug could be attached was a nice way of doing it. And you can put your AirTag inside, and it has an ARCA plate. So, and it also has this small little tool I just showed you, which was on the back of the camera. So yeah, that's about it for that part. So that's the second part that we need. The third part that we need, and I can't stress how important this is that you need new screws. And I want to give a warning. I will give several warnings. That doesn't mean that I think this product is dangerous, but you have to be careful. You are playing around with a quite expensive camera, either in the a9 III or the a1ii, and maybe in the future, because I suspect it will get the same body, the a7 Mark V. You can see you have to have new screws, because of course the distance to the camera changes. But keep in mind that in the Sony cameras, so if you print this out and you add a screw, make sure that you get an 18mm one, or at least check if the screw doesn't go too deep in the camera. So basically the screws, they say that you can't go out more than 5.5mm, and I think it's probably more like 7, but I made sure that I don't go any deeper. Otherwise you might damage your camera. I don't think it's a big deal, but you of course need to have new screws. Because if you're using the screw which is inside this, it will not be long enough, and which makes sense, because we are adding about 17mm to the whole body. I think it's about 15, but 17mm is the size of the grip itself. So yeah, you need one of these screws. I ordered 5 of them. It does have these side connections. I'm not taking it out, but you can see them. You can just bend them off. I could not find screws which were the correct length, and didn't have the sort of the flippy part. So the last thing that you might need, you can get different ones, but I swear with these because they are by far the best, which is the nice tape that you can put on the side. And I'm also using it as anti-grip material, so that this material. In reality, if you are not behind the camera and you're just from, let's say, a meter distance, you don't see that this is actually not the same as the Sony ones. It looks a slightly bit different. It's called GT5000, and you can find it online. Just Google it. I'll put links in the description. GT5000, and it's actually made for gun grips. I'm not into gun. I'm in the Netherlands, Europe. We are not that gun crazy. But this is what I found. I guess if you're holding one, it's very important. It's very sticky and it lasts forever. I've been using this for many years on many of the old rigs that I made. I can totally advise this, and that I'm using this again. And I'm actually not using it only on the grip, but also in some other parts. So these are the parts that you need. So before you start printing, make sure that you have these parts. Otherwise, the print will be, I wouldn't say useless, but less useful. So let me put this one in and think about what we can. I guess I will take it apart from the camera because I want to show you some other small things. Also, how to attach it, now not to attach it, and just give you more of an idea. So again, I will open this lock, and then it's quite easy to pull it out, as you can see, and put it back in. Pull it out. Let me make myself bigger. Like always, I have myself. Oops. Put it back in. So this, of course, if you have to change the battery, so you basically take it out, open the battery hole, and take out the battery, and put the new battery in. Put the new battery in. Close the Sony door, which is still there. I think that's important. So you still have all your water resistance, and then put back the thingy and lock it up. And there it goes, and you're ready again. Now, one of the most difficult things is to get this stable, so that this feels, because it is plastic what we are talking about. But you want it to feel stable, and so far as I can figure out, the current printout is stable and it works fine. Let's also talk a little bit about the dangers, and what I mean with dangers is we are holding an expensive camera, and I think it's fair to talk about, is plastic, is it good enough? Well, the way that is designed is that there's quite a big area where the official plate, so the aluminium plate, which is taking all the load, is attached to the camera using this plastic part in the top part, which you can see more on the orange. You can see that's quite thick and it's very difficult to bend. This is PLA, so it bends a bit more, but the official one that we are using in PET G would be my advice, is extremely strong, so I don't see an issue there. Now, the Peak Design plug is connected to the aluminium part, so if I take it out, you will see that it connects to here, and that's also on the aluminium part. So then I've dropped myself, fallen down with an expensive camera, not this one, with the expensive camera, on the floor with an L bracket, and that saves quite a lot. And I'm wondering if that would be better or worse than this. And this is my logic. So if it hits the ground here, it will hit the plastic, and of course that will be damaged more than an aluminium plate. The aluminium plate, when it fell, took about 4 millimeters of material of the aluminium plate. The camera and the body and the lens were fine, but I'm guessing this takes more damage. But as with the car, I'm wondering if that's good or bad, because if it takes more damage, it will probably hit on the plastic part and then sort of crumble. And as you know, physics, I'm not sure if the crumbling before it hits the camera, but it will most likely do less damage. Is my guess that if it will be an aluminium part, because then of course all the force will go directly into your camera. So am I willing to test this with this camera? No, I'm not willing to test this, but until it happens, my guess is that this gives you the same level of protection as the aluminium one. Of course, from the bottom, because I didn't design it as an L bracket, that was not the goal. So now, if it hits and it bends the screw, which is always a possibility if you hit it from the side, what then will be damaged, I will show, because I will take it off. So I will do the official way. I'll take out the tool, which we now have with us. And once we have the tool, which I have over here now, I will probably do it from the top view. Remove the plate, and you can see how it works. Like always, I'm a little bit, don't turn it on too tight. If you put it on, especially after you first print it, make sure that you first put it on slightly, then do a feel so that you feel it. Of course, this was my problem, right? Just so that everybody knows again, this was my problem. my hands are falling off. And actually, I got this camera now 3 weeks ago. So I think 12 December or 11 December in Europe. And again, this is a 7,500 euros camera, right? So this doesn't feel comfortable, even with small lens or with big lenses. This never felt comfortable for me. So in the last 10 years, I've always added uh, L plates, brackets, extenders, all kinds of stuff, cages, just to make sure. So that's why we are doing it. But if this gets damaged by bending, either in an L plate or in this, um, then the bottom plate and even this part can be replaced. So that's the only danger that I kind of see compared to using a real L plate, and I'm not sure what this would be more advantage, I guess. So let's look around the plate a tiny bit. So here you can see the bottom part, which is clicked in. It's not screwed in, it just stays there because we are screwing it to the body. Then you can see there's quite a lot of material there. And you can see the screw coming out. And again, the screw is not allowed to extend more than about 5.5 millimeters in height. So make sure that that doesn't happen. And you can see this nice edge where the camera is sort of leaning in. I might get the orange one because you can see a tiny bit better. So you can see the edge where it's leaning in. You can see also different mechanisms we talked about. Now there's two parts over there and over there, which are anti-twist. So that means that there's two holes in the in the bottom of the camera where they automatically connect to, so that it becomes more stable. Now on this side there's not much to see, I guess. On the other side, well, there's one thing that I will want to point out. You can see, and it's not necessary, but I just think it makes it a little bit better. Probably over time is the best way to say it. As you can see, I put a little bit of this tape also over here. And that's 0.3 millimeters thick, but it's also a little bit rubby and anti grip, right? It's a grip material. And I always found, I put it in lots of my L brackets, that it stops any movement in the mechanism if it was already there. And in this case, because this is plastic and this can bend a little bit, I will get back to it later. That's why the plug is designed the way that it is designed. That if you bend it, it might make a little bit of a squishy noise or plastic on plastic kind of noise. I don't want to have any movement, so I put a little bit of stuff over there. And you can also see on the door, I did the same thing. You see on the door, I just put two parts over there and a small part over there. Was it necessary day one after you printed? No, it felt fine to me. But I know 3D printers, of course, are not all the same. There might be some variations in how precise your printout is, or which material of print. Again, I would suggest PETG. But I feel this is a good sort of way to do it. I normally on L brackets also either do it on the bottom of my camera, so to protect the camera, especially in the old Sonys, they were not as waterproof as they are now. So I used to put all this gun tape on top of this and not over the door, but on top of this part to make sure that there's an extra water protection. I always found that to work quite nicely, so I'm not stopping that habit. Could I've designed it all the way out? Maybe, but I think using tape like this is totally okay. Again, it's not a production sales thing, right? So, yeah. So let me show you how to put it together. So let me get another one, so you can see it here. This is an older print. Might not be as nice because I printed it quicker, or I can't remember. But you don't see the ugly parts anyway. You can see that I've get another plate. Already put the Peak Design plug on there. Make sure that the screw is on the correct side, and of course put your AirTag in. I also painted my AirTag because otherwise there's a side view and you can see a little bit of white. You don't see it now because there's no AirTag in there. But on the official one, I just spray painted the white cap of the AirTag black so that you can't see it because it needs these holes to get the signal out. So yeah, put it in the correct area like this. I'm going to do this in a very awkward position, so make sure that well, I have to pick it up a tiny bit. I think it's probably best if I do it like this. So probably best to put your finger behind the screw so that it's easy to align, and then you can just press it in. You can see it fits. Now of course it's only now half stuck, but the moment that you screw in the whole thing, you can see how it works. You can also see how this part sort of opens up so that you can take the plug out. This one is a little bit more stuck because I printed about 30 or 40 different versions of this, so I just picked up a few randoms to show you. As you can see how it works, and also how the whole camera is kind of laying in this bed top to get it to work. So this is how you put it together. I would suggest to first put it on with the, well, let me do it. So let me go to the official one. So I would first put the plug back in and lock it up. This I've done now, so you can see this is the totally connected part. You hear me click it in, and then just put the camera, put something soft below it, and just get your tool and carefully, very slightly put it in. And I would sort of make it that it's stuck but not screwed down, and then pick up the camera and make sure that it's correctly aligned. If it feels nice, right, you don't feel the whole bumpy thing, and then lock it down some more. And tight is tight. Don't do it too tight. It's not needed. And of course, then you can pull it down. I'm also moving a little bit awkward because my shoulder is hurting. So then you can open it up again, take out the thingy. Why did I do this? And of course, you can check if the battery is still going open and close. That's probably a good idea before you go out. And then put the tool back in. Press it down that you can feel that it's really down correctly. Otherwise, it might hit your camera, which you don't want. I made it so that it works perfectly hidden. And then close it up and lock it. And we are done. So let me see what else I can say about this. Maybe this is about it. Yeah, there's also, you can see the holes are a tiny bit, doesn't feel like a nice hole. I made 3 of them. So there's a little bit of movement again to make sure that if the print is slightly off, that it automatically finds the 2 holes, the small holes, right? And the locking pins, and also that it sort of lays in this bathtub, let's call it like that. So the camera really settles down in the correct position, and then you can screw it down. So that's why there's a little bit of movement there. So yeah, I'm thinking if there's more to say about this. I think this is about it. So what do I expect next? Well, I am releasing this on for people to print themselves. I don't take any responsibility. It's use it. I would advise. There's some small advice. So of course I am using a strap normally. So you can see that I can plug it in. And this is connect to the camera, right? So there's no issue there. But the plug that you saw on the bottom, so let me get it out again. Of course, this one is now slightly more difficult than all the times that I've used it before, which is of course always happening if you're on a video. Oh, come on, get out, get out. I have to get my fingers on the little wire. Okay, whew, got it out. And again, it's connected to the Arca plate, and you can see you can hold it down. Now, what I would advise, it is an unproven product. So that means that I can't promise you that if you're running around in the wild with a heavy lens on there, although you should not connect the heavy lens, it should be connected to the lens and not to the camera body. But let's say up to, I'm using most likely something like the 20-70 GM2. Then if you hook it up like this, right, so this is one side, and then of course the top side, I always want them to be in a cross, but then that's not why I'm showing you this. keep in mind, because of the angle in the studio, it always feels, let me see if I can, well, I can also hold it like this. You can see it will always hang down, which is important because that means that it's sort of always the lens, especially with a heavier lens, it will sort of automatically go down, hang next to your body. But here you see the important part. If for some reason this part would break, right? Because it's not a for sale product, it's something that you downloaded off the internet. I think it's stable, I think it will be fine. But for different reasons, if you're using the Peak designs, I'll always put like a safety wire between the two parts. This for two reasons. A, if then this part will break, we still have this part, which is attached to the camera. But more important, if I'm holding it, for me being stupid. And what I mean with this has nothing to do with my grip, because this. But if I detach one of them and I get forgetful and I let the camera go, because well, it will automatically slide off on the other side and my camera will go down. So by adding this safety wire, then at least one of the sides will take the load of the camera. So you can see how this would work, and yeah, it works fine. If you don't need it anymore, you can remove the plug and put it back into the body and hide it away. There we go. Let me also take the other part off. I think this is about everything I have to say about it. So let's talk a little bit about the future. Will I update this? Well, I don't know yet. It is allowed to remix them within the license that is being pointed out. So that means somebody might take it and do something different with it. And I think that's fine as long as you follow the license, and that means that you can't use it commercially. I do feel there are products out in the market within probably 1 or 2 months or something like that, a few months. There's already one out from Leo Photo, but it's really difficult to get. So, but hopefully more products get out like this. So this is not needed for everybody, because I understand not everybody wants to 3D print. But it's good enough for me now, and let's see what happens. I also think it's interesting to combine known parts, in this case from a JJC, and 3D printed parts. I think that's fun to play around with and to fiddle. I will also, our companies are seeing this, and maybe they are going to do something with it. Again, not a design, because they are not allowed to do that, but of course they can take ideas and go from there. And you can do the same thing, and that's totally fine. So I'm not even sure if I will using this in 6 months myself, but for now it solves a problem, and it might in fact be a good solution for somebody, even if products are out. So what will be the cost? The costs are about, of course, my design is free. You can just print it. I'm using, just for reference, a Bamboo Lab printer, and that's a Bamboo Lab P1S, which is the same as the P1P, which is the smaller brother of the P1C, no, or the 1C carbon something. Anyway, these are pretty nice printers, and the reason I'm telling you this is that some of our other printers might be better, but there's also a chance they might be worse, and then I'm not sure if the quality of the print is good enough to get the same results that I'm getting. So that's why I build in this little bit of tolerances left and right to see how it will work out for people. So yeah, let's see what happens with this. I hope you, if you printed out, you enjoyed it. If not, I hope this me fiddling around with some of these designs, which I've done for many years, and sharing it publicly, will result in better products for us all, because I think that's the end goal. My end goal is not to get everybody to 3D print it themselves and fiddle around with it. If you do and you want it, be my guest. But the goal is, of course, that companies will start making these products in a few months for the cameras that we own. And let's see what happens, because I think, yeah, products like this are needed. And I also think, and that's me, let me give the last hint, and it's difficult to see on camera, but I also think the closer we can get that it just looks like it's part of the camera. Again, on camera it's a little bit tricky because it looks less the same than it is in reality. So I think more integrated parts are useful. I actually think that Sony should make these extenders, again, with room for trackers like AirTag or the Google ones, with the Arca plate built in, and it's nicely integrated into the body. Sony should do that. I don't suggest that they change the camera body because just to give you an idea, this is still smaller than Nikon Z8, so the smaller Nikon. It is, but I don't want Sony to change the body design. I think the body design is near perfect. What I do think is that they should be more open and more making them themselves extenders, right? We don't all want a full grip, which is 47 millimeters. This is 17, but we do want to have something in between. And of course, we have L brackets and some cages, but I think this more integrated solution is actually something that the market needs. So yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, hopefully this will work out. Do I need to say more about the printing? No, follow the printing guides that I put out. I will change them over time if people have problems. And good luck, and let me know if this works out for you. Bye bye. Now I should press a button, which I don't see anymore. So, oh, that's over there. Bye bye.